Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
All right, and we're back with another Christmas-themed horror movie for your month of December. I'm your host, John Hunter, along with my co-host, Boog.
Hi, I'm Bug.
I mean, I don't know who else it would be, but no biggie, no biggie.
Hey, we rehearsed that, so that's how it sounded.
Not today, Boog, come on. All right, so we got a good one here for you today. Krampus by Michael Dougherty.
2015 Krampus.
Yeah, that was a big thing when this was coming out. All those people were making like the direct-to-video, not like rip-offs, but like all their Krampus movies to cash in on the hype coming out for this one. And obviously, since Krampus is a like European folklore, that there's no one owns the rights to it, so anyone can make a Krampus movie and can literally just title it Krampus. So I guess we do have to distinguish the Michael Dougherty 2015 Krampus. So, Boog,
Yes.
what's new? What's going on with you?
My family's getting bigger.
Okay. What does that mean?
My sister just found out the gender of her baby.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be like a surprise, like you're having a kid or something.
No. They don't give kids the 22-year-old versions.
They don't give you. Never mind. You'll learn about it one day.
What's that bird? The
Sto-
bird that brings down this yeah.
The stork,
Stork,
the
yep.
Krampus.
I'm gonna go stork.
Okay.
Yeah, stork didn't bring me no baby this year. Son of a bitch.
All right. So before we get into the movie, because this is going splendid, did you know coming into this about like what the Krampus was, like the folklore, the story behind it?
Yeah, I mean, I had a very rough understanding of it, but enough to understand who the Krampus was and what his intent was in the world. So.
Okay. All right. Well, what I'm gonna do, because it is the giving season book, I'm actually going to give the listeners a little background if they don't know. This comes right from the esteemed source Wikipedia. The Krampus is a Central European folklore. He's a horned anthropomorphic figure described as a half goat, half demon, who during the Christmas season punishes children who have misbehaved. This contrasts with St. Nicholas, who rewards the well-behaved with gifts. Krampus is one of the companions of St. Nicholas in several regions, including Austria, Bavaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Hungary, northern Italy, as well as Slovakia and Slovenia. The origin of the figure is unclear, but some folklorists and anthropologists have postulated that it has pre-Christian origins. So he actually definitely, like, especially our modern understanding of Santa Claus outdates Santa Claus.
Would you say pre-Christian or pre-Catholic?
Pre-Christian. Hey, whatever you want to believe in, that's up to you. We're not here to hate on people.
You know how
whatever
how
gets you through your day.
Out? You know how I keep people out?
How do you keep people out, Bug?
Shut the door and lock it. No one's getting in.
That's one. You made it further this time, though, in the episode before you got one.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's one way. I was going to say, yeah, I'll write that down. We can make a list later. We'll do a podcast about it.
Oh, God. I tell you what,
You know,
I hate. It's the holiday season. I'm keeping the hate to the minimum here. Minimum.
eh,
But so pretty much, Krampus is like the anti-Santa Claus, which I think that's pretty metal. It's pretty cool, actually. More entertaining than the actual Christmas Santa. Actually, if you ever think about it, Santa Claus himself, that idea is pretty creepy. You got this like old bearded man that is sneaking into your house that can materialize through chimneys while you're sleeping. Like that's a little bit
I've
creepy.
I've heard it all before. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah, well, you don't think anyway, so that's your first issue.
No,
But
I don't read.
you know, it's
I
been.
sometimes think.
Oh, don't think right now, dude. I don't want you to hurt yourself. So,
Okay.
well, other like this might not be related. It's kind of related. So, you know what's always weird to me is in Christmas movies where like the kids believe in Santa Claus, and but the parents don't, and
And then
then
gifts somehow randomly appear, and the kids are like, or the parents are like, "Whoa,
yeah,
Santa really did that
so
for you?"
all those different
Joke.
years, like where did those parents think the gifts were coming from? Because hey,
Well,
it's a little bit early in the episode, but spoiler alert: Santa Claus is not real.
it's the movies are for families, so like, of course, they're not going to directly imply that the parents don't believe in Santa Claus. The only movie that I can think off the
Yeah,
top of my head
but
is Santa Claus
that's a
with
bigger
Tim Allen.
like existential issue is that these parents willingly know that there's a magic entity that each year sneaks into their house and delivers presents, and like they, I don't know.
Hey, when
They're
I'm
movies. They're movies, obviously, but we're going. If you're looking into it a little bit more, it's like I don't never just sat well with me on movies. I don't know. I always think about dumb shit like that.
when I'm older, you better bet your ass my kids are going to believe in Santa Claus, so I get 1 month of them just trying to be good.
Dog, you're never getting kids.
Uh, I heard there's this bird that just delivers them to you.
We already went over that. This isn't the same episode, book. You can't even remember
Uh,
like 2 minutes ago.
Stork, that's what it was. I wrote that down in my notes.
I'll tell you what, the Krampus, based upon his backstory and stuff, he could actually get into delivering kids. Like, what do you think he does? Because that's his big thing is he like kidnaps the kids. He could probably just resell them. I'm just saying. If you want to get real dark, he kidnaps your kids and resells them on the black market.
Is there a market for that?
Oh, there's definitely a market. We don't want to get down that. Back in college, I took a class on human trafficking, and it's actually very eye opening. At the same time, like I don't want to say it didn't affect me, but I was like, thank God I'm not in the demographic of people that get kidnapped. It's like small, like children and women, and I'm like a 6'2", like 250 pound or 215 pound person. Like it's not. I'm not the demographic that gets kidnapped, but it's definitely a huge rampant. And actually, the crazy part is a lot of those areas where this where this folklore is told about the demon, half goat, half demon creature that comes in and steals kids. Like I don't know so much, probably Austria, but not. They're more whatever. But it's places like Czech Republic is like one of the number one places. Slovakia, Slovenia, where human trafficking is like a serious issue. I don't know if there's somewhere maybe that's where all these people that are getting human trafficked are going to Krampus.
Are there still the countries out there that do this like Krampus stuff? Like,
Oh yeah, actually, so that one's actually pretty cool. So there's actually, I know Germany's real big on it. Obviously, Austria still does. They stopped it for a time, but those like European, like Central European countries, there they have this thing
they,
called Krampusnacht, which translated in German's just Krampus night. I don't know if you could get that from context clues, but
no, I
I'll give
got
you.
that.
I'll
I
give
took
you.
some German.
Okay. Hey, Sam. Ich auch. That means I also. Hey, who said you weren't going to learn anything on this podcast?
I mean, I didn't learn anything because I already knew that.
I wasn't talking to you, bug.
Uh,
Jesus.
I think we should just wrap this up.
Yeah, well, I was just going to tell you about Krampusnacht. That
Okay, go ahead.
um on December 5th, so it's the day before the Feast of St. Nicholas, where it's celebrated in these European countries. December 5th is Krampus night, where they'll have big like street parades and stuff, and all the men in the town like dress up in these like actually if you look at the pictures, really like realistic, awesome looking Krampus costumes, and they go around the town terrorizing the kids. Families come out and see them, and it's actually pretty cool. I'd actually like to check one out. I know they had Krampus knocked around us down at Market Square. They celebrate it around here, and they actually had like instead of get your picture with Santa Claus, you get your picture with the Krampus. You ready to get into the director and cast and all that good stuff?
Yeah, should be. Yes, I am ready.
All right. So what we were saying before, Michael Dougherty. Is it pronounced Dougherty? Dougherty? I'm so bad with names. I'm never gonna be good at it, so I apologize. But
Daugherty?
Dougherty. Michael Dougherty. I'm gonna say Dougherty. Michael Dougherty. Dougherty. We're going with Dougherty. We'll just fumble over that for a while. But Michael Dougherty, he directed, obviously besides this movie, he did some writing as well. But his other major film that he directed and is most well known for is 2007's Trick or Treat. Personally, that's actually one of my favorite Halloween movies. I don't know. Have you seen it before, Boog?
Wait, which movie was it? Trick or Treat?
Trick or Treat.
No,
it was like
you mentioned that in an earlier podcast too.
Yeah, it was an anthology series, and they did it pretty cool because like a lot of anthology series will have like an overarching story. They might have like a narrator. I know some of them you see they have like a radio DJ and pulls together, but this one was set up like it seemed like each individual story was self-contained. They actually all were taking place in the same town at the same time. And it pulled together by this figure Sam, like short for Sam Hain for like the Halloween season, and extremely well done. And I know for years, and they even have it listed tentatively, they're going to make a sequel, and he always talks about it. But he has been getting more busy recently. He got involved in the Godzilla franchise. He directed that last one, Godzilla King of Monsters, which I don't know if you did you see that with me, or was that with your brother?
No, I have no interest in those.
Yeah, well, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. And from the preview, they brought in all the classic monsters: Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and I was real pumped for it. But the issue, I mean, I guess that's for another. We'll never probably review it, but the main issue I had with that one is they focused more on the human characters than the monsters. So if a big battle was breaking out, they had these big, spectacular looking battles. They did a great job like animating them and good modern updates to the creatures. But they would get ready to fight, and it would cut to a human looking like, oh, like scared and stuff. And it was like, fuck, this is stupid. He also wrote Superman Returns, which is a very forgettable movie. But other than that, his main thing that he did the story for X-Men Apocalypse as well. So he has a writer story for that. But pretty much the main other thing that he's known for is Trick or Treat. So I remember I saw this in theaters back when it came out, and that was my main. Well, one, because there's not a lot of horror movies during the Christmas holiday season. But two was knowing that it was done by the guy that directed Trick or Treat had me pretty pumped for this one, and I'd say that for the most part I wasn't disappointed. I actually thought this was a really well put together film. I did have a few issues with it, but it's definitely not as good as Trick or Treat, but definitely worth your time there. So, all right, that's it. We're done.
His name is Dougherty. That's how you pronounce it.
You found that pronunciation? Well, it doesn't matter. We're not saying it anymore the rest of the podcast.
Michael Dougherty. Mike. MD.
Okay. All right, Boog. I'm going to cut you off there. So moving on to the rest of the cast. The main character, Max, young boy played by MJ Anthony, which I didn't know you could have.
You can
I guess, yeah,
MJ.
you could have, yeah, it's like phonetically spelled, but
yeah.
hey, Kids have crazier names all the time. He's been in a few other movies. He played a young wolf in the Jungle Book. He was in that Bad Moms movie, which actually that was actually pretty funny. With
He was a kid
Mia
in Jungle Book.
No, he played a wolf.
Oh,
He
he
was
wasn't.
he was
Okay,
in
he wasn't
Mowgli.
that kid.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so he's done some other things. Nothing like too crazy. An episode of Grey's Anatomy, stuff like that. So, but it's good to see him keep busy. We'll talk about him a little bit later when we get to our pros and cons. I got a few things to say. Next up, we had his dad, Tom, played by Adam Scott. Great actor. Ton of comedy movies. Older brother and Step Brothers. I feel like that's when he really made it big. But a lot of people will know him from Parks and Rec, which he was awesome in.
I feel like his character in Step Brothers it was like the beginning steps of his career.
Yeah, that like
Yeah,
he had been
yeah,
doing stuff a long before that, but that was like his real mainstream breakout. When
yeah. But since that breakout role, has he at all like resembled a role like that in any of his like shows or movies?
it's not really because he actually plays more like a lovable, like nerdy guy, but there he was like the jerk, like
Yeah,
alpha male
he was.
type.
Yeah, he was the I'm ripped, I'm an older brother, I'm gonna beat your ass type of thing. But
That
everything else
scene's
is
so
super
funny in that movie
nerdy.
when he pulls up. He's like, I haven't had a carb in 10 years, and it's just like someone else's greased chest.
Yes.
God, I love that movie.
I love Adam
You know
Scott
what he
too.
was in? Lesser known. It had a short run on Fox, but I really liked it. It was Ghosted, and it was two guys that investigated paranormal. It was a comedy, paranormal things similar to like a X-Files show, but it was a comedy style.
Is
And
there only 2 seasons of that?
I don't. Yeah, like they stopped
Because I
making.
I remember watching. I thought it was fantastic. I
Yeah,
thought it
so
was
did I. It
hilarious.
was him and why can't I remember Daryl's the actor's name from The
Chip and
Office?
or
Craig
not Chip.
Robinson. Him and Craig Robinson were the two leads, and it was really funny. And it was like they had a different like creature of the week like each episode, and
Oh
I
no, never mind. I didn't see that. I'm thinking of a different one, a different show.
definitely check that one. I think it's on Hulu if you get a chance.
What's the what's that movie? Chris and Dale
Oh, is it Chuck
versus
and
Evil.
something? Yeah, that movie's hilarious. It
Well,
has it has the one of the main characters was Steve the Pirate and Dodgeball. All right, so
yeah,
we're getting hooked up on this here, so we'll get through these. But Adam Scott in it, so that's always a good addition. Tony Collette, who's actually hit it really big recently. I know a lot of people um, had called for her to get Academy Award recognition for the mother she played in Hereditary.
hmm
Which came out last year, 2018. Which that movie is. I don't know if it would be your cup of tea, book. I don't know if you've seen it because everyone was calling it like the horror movie of the year. But you got to be in the right mindset because that one's like out there, but it's very well put together. But it's strange. It's a strange movie for sure. But she did do a great job in that. Um, Recently, she was just in that Knives Out movie that basically like who done it like type thing, which I didn't get a chance to check it out. This that came out like a couple weeks ago, but I'm definitely when it comes to video checking that out because it did look interesting and got good reviews. What else? What else has she been in that's been pretty big?
About a Boy, 2002.
Yeah, that was the one where they filmed the kid for I don't know. The other
What
the big
about
one, she was actually Academy Award nominated. Um, I believe which did she? I don't know if she received it for Little Miss Sunshine or The Sixth Sense, but she was in Sixth Sense as well. Um, I think it was Little Miss Sunshine she did, but another top-notch actress in this movie. So this right off the bat had a lot going for it. Then you had their daughter Beth, played by Stefania LeVay Owen. Um, I don't really recognize her from anything else. I guess she was in The Lovely Bones, which I did not really like that movie. Um,
Oh, oh, damn, she's my age. She doesn't look my age.
they had the grandma play Omi, played by Krista Stadler, which I don't think I've ever seen her. I mean, she only spoke German. I think she was a German actress. And if you're looking at her IMDb, she was. So I definitely did not see any of those movies.
She spoke like 3 words, 4 words in English.
I thought so at first. I actually thought about putting this down as a con, but then I actually thought to my life I've actually experienced a situation like this. How the family understood her, but they didn't speak German back to her, but she understood them. Remember Frank? We used to play hockey with. Like we were on
Yes.
the team.
Oh yeah, his dad. You were
His
telling me about
his
his
dad
dad.
is they're straight from Italy. Frank doesn't speak a word of Italian. His dad doesn't speak a word of English, but they both
But
completely understand each other.
yes,
Weird,
that's
weird
weird.
stuff, man. That's why I was gonna put it down as a con, but I was like, I can't because like I actually that's realistic. That can happen.
The
Um,
grandma's one of my cons, but we'll get into that later.
okay. And then you got Conchetta Ferrell, who is most famous for her role as the housekeeper in Two and a Half Men, which that's like a little guilty pleasure. That show, like normally like sitcoms are stupid and stuff, but that show is actually funny, and she was actually funny in this as well. Plays the drunk Aunt Dorothy.
Oh yeah, she was funny in this.
Yeah. You had Allison Tolman played Linda, who was Tony Collette's character's sister, as well as the other most notable one, David Koechner, who most people will know him as Todd Packer from The Office. He's been in a lot of things. Hilarious guy. Anchorman. Um, what else? What's the cooking one? He was in that. He was funny. Waiting.
Yeah, he was in
Right.
Waiting.
That movie was hilarious.
He was in the movie Get Smart
Get Smart.
as
Yeah.
well. I have his
Yeah,
stuff
but
open up here.
most notably is Todd Packer, but he's good in this as well. And then yeah, pretty much no real other notables. They're kids. I don't think were anything else. Which honestly, they weren't bad acting, but definitely typecast for those roles.
I'm trying to see what he's in another movie and I can't remember what it is, but it's Talladega Nights.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was in that movie.
But he wasn't like a major role. There's another movie he has like a more like major role. I can't think of it right now.
I didn't know he actually does a lot of voices on American Dad.
Does he really?
Mm-hmm.
I love American Dad. Oh, by the way, I looked it up. If you guys want to watch a good episode of American Dad, the Krampus episode,
Yeah. There's a
it
couple. His
is.
Stan's dad becomes the Krampus in that.
Yeah, it's the main one, the very first one that started it off. Season 10, episode 8. That's a great episode.
Oh, he was actually. I forgot about that. He was the scout leader in Scout's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse, which is a funny like zombie horror comedy.
Yeah. Yep.
Not anything special, but if you get a chance to watch it, you can't think of anything else to watch. Definitely throw that on.
What else did I write down? Oh, I wrote down the guy who plays Krampus is Luke Hawker. So let me see.
Yeah, I got to pull it up here. So, what else is he known for?
I don't know. I don't recognize the name.
So he mostly just works in special effects. Like this is pretty much one of his only roles where he's played like a character well known, but like he worked on special effects for Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong, the Matt Damon movie Elysium. So he works in special effects, but I mean, I thought he did
a actor.
yeah. That spoiler alert: the Krampus really isn't in this movie that much.
I mean, he is, but
like
he is,
he's in the back,
never,
yeah.
So if you pull up Luke Hawker's face, you don't actually see that face in this movie at all.
Yeah, and that's something we'll talk about in the pros and cons too, because I have a few things to say about that. Because it's a love hate with that design as well. But I mean, he didn't do a bad job. Just there was no, not like he did a good job either. It's not his fault. It's not like there was much to do with the Krampus. Um,
Yeah, I'll tell you
the
what.
Krampus is more like a presence in the background till about the last, I'd say, 10-15 minutes of this movie.
Uh, yeah, yeah, he has a slight role in the beginning, and then he doesn't really come alive until about last 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Let's say the final quarter of it, the fourth quarter.
the fourth quarter. Well, his team was definitely leading going into the fourth quarter, but we'll get to that in spoilers.
Yeah.
um,
Oh yeah.
all right, so getting into the plot of this movie a little bit here. Um, so basically, for Christmas, you got your family, friends, and stuff coming in. So the main family, Max is the young boy, Tom, Adam Scott's character, Sarah, Tony Collette's character, they're the mom and dad. Um, he has his younger sister as well, and their grandma lives with him, Omi. Um, Max has been having trouble recently with kids in his class because he is a little bit older, but he still believes in Santa Claus. So he's getting made fun of. The other kids tell him it isn't real. So you're portrayed right off the beginning as um, like the way that the family initially interacts to Max getting in that fight kind of sets up the personalities for the character. Like the dad's against violence. He's more of this like a business tech guy. Like he's taking business calls and stuff all the time. And the mother's kind of like a stuck up rich person. And she actually says at one point, like, I'm well, you had to learn sometime that Santa Claus isn't real. So the kid's like pretty miserable at this point. But his grandma tells him, like, talks to him, like, kind of calms him down. At the same time, their extended relatives, his aunt Linda, who is Sarah's sister, as well as her husband Howard, are coming in with their kids, Howie Jr., Stevie, Jordan, and the little baby Chrissy. Um, so they're showing up, and it was actually pretty funny, I thought, when it came in, because they all come in, they saying their hellos and everything like that, and they forgot that when they drove up that they left the baby in the car. I thought so it kind of gives you the idea of how that family is as well, how they're like kind of like all over the place, and I don't know. And as well as the surprises, they brought uh, Sarah and Linda's Aunt Dorothy along as well, um, which uh, Sarah kind of makes a deal like, hey, like probably let me know before she's coming up because she is a little bit of a handful. So that sets the stage for the main cast of characters there. Basically, next scene you're gonna see, they sit down for dinner, and at the dinner table, you find out that two of Max's cousins swiped his Christmas wish letter from his back pocket, and they start reading it in front of everyone at the table, and well, I thought this was a little weird that maybe the parents didn't stop them from reading this, but anyway, it happens. So they're reading it out loud, and it's embarrassing. Um, Max, and then it actually gets to an embarrassing part for the family, talking about how his parents don't really communicate anymore, and they're like drifting apart. So it gets like real awkward for everybody. And then Max freaks out because they're making fun of him for liking Santa Claus again, and gets in a fight with his cousins right at the dinner table, and they're wrestling around. And Max basically gets up and says like fuck this, like I hate Christmas, and rips the letter up. And that's the point when he gave up on Christmas, and that led to the Krampus coming out. So moving forward, this leads to a huge blizzard that the whole town gets engulfed in. Um, the first person to leave the house, the older sister Beth, her boyfriend lives right down the street, so she's gonna dip out of the house, go down the street, um, try to make because she didn't hear. I think was she having trouble hearing from him? I think.
Yeah, she was panicking because she texted him like 7 times and he didn't respond, and that's very unlike him. So,
Yeah, and this is when we get our first glimpse of the Krampus, which I thought this scene was pretty cool when he was jumping rooftop to rooftop and she could kind of see it because there's the blizzard going. You really can't see, and that's something I like that they did too. Is like how you don't get the reveal. That's something I like in movies, like the classic, obviously Jaws, and it was done for different reasons, but it ended up working out in a really well ways. There's that big reveal of the creature, and you definitely get this later on in the movie. But I like how it's like teased, like you can kind of see him and he's jumping rooftop to rooftop, so you're like, what the fuck is that? Um, but she starts panicking and so she starts running down the street and this abandoned delivery truck. She tries to hide underneath that. The creature's walking by and it leaves, but it leaves a package, and she's sitting there and it's winding. You're like, oh shit, it's a Jack in a Box, and as it pops out, it cuts to black. So you're not really sure what happened to Beth. Back at the house, Tom and Howard, everyone's getting worried there, but they're the men of the men of the house, so they decide, well, we're gonna go out and search for them. Do they? I think they do at this point. I can't remember if it was earlier or not, but they go out to Howard's. Um, Hummer to get his gun collection. Like he has like a shit ton of guns.
So what
He's like
they
a
did
real
was,
redneck guy.
what they did, Tom asked Howard if his Hummer could make it through the snow, and Howard had a real
Yeah.
smart ass comment. It's like, if you point east, my Hummer can get there and get the coast of I don't know, coast of D-Day before sunrise or something dumb like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they went out in this Hummer, and as they're searching for his daughter, they see a snowplow has crashed, and they go out of their car to investigate it. While investigating, they see that the plow crashed into, I forget what it was, like a tree or something,
Mm-hmm.
or something, and they thought the driver was ejected. But at closer and closer look, you can see the driver, something actually went in through the windshield, so that nothing actually came out of the
Yeah.
windshield. That's when they turn around, go to the Hummer, and take out a shotgun and like a
Revolver.
revolver.
Yeah.
And pretty funny line there. Adam Scott's like, "We brought guns to Christmas." And he's like, "I don't travel without my babies."
All right. So then from there they head to the boyfriend's house and they see that it's like all fucked up, like the chimney's ripped open, and then they can see like goat-like hoof prints on the house. Um, while they're out there, they're actually attacked by a creature under the snow. So it reminded me a lot of remember Tremors?
Tremors with
Kevin Bacon.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like that, but obviously in snow. Like that's a creature. I wonder what it was like. Was it like a snake or something? You never get to see it. Spoiler: you don't get to see what that creature is. But it was pretty cool how it traveled through the snow and you saw it. But they were able to get away from that, make it back to the house and board up the windows. And they're trying not to panic the family, but they're like shit's pretty fucked up out there. So they all decide they're staying in the living room and bundled up. And the grandma gets a bad feeling. And she basically is just saying like keep the fire lit, like that's the most important thing. And so during the night, a hook is lowered down through the chimney with a gingerbread man on it, and one of Howard's kids like sees that everyone's still sleeping, goes up and takes a bite of the gingerbread man. And it turns out that it was actually alive, and him being startled wakes up everybody. But as that's happening, the chain wraps around him and yanks him up the chimney, and the family like is obviously trying to pull him back. But that's when they pretty much have to come clean and tell everyone like, hey, like there's some weird shit going on out there. Well, obviously they didn't know now because the kid just got snatched up and sucked up the chimney. But that's the point where like everyone knows, and then Oma decides the German grandma decides like, hey, like I have a kind of good idea what's going on here. So she tells a story about when she was a child and she stopped believing in Christmas back. Was she from Germany or Austria? One of those German countries, but um, post like World War II, they were going through some hard times, and there really wasn't like a lot of Christmas spirit, and so she gave up on that. And when she did, that allowed the Krampus to enter in her life, and the Krampus killed her whole family, snatched them up, and just left her with this like Christmas like bell. So she knows what's going on here. Um, and so the family like knows something weird's going on, but they really don't believe her at this time. Um, and then so they're trying to figure out what to do, and they realize there's a package of presents that was delivered earlier to their house, but they didn't know like what it was. Um, and so I'm gonna stop right there because before we get into spoilers, because at this point the story picks up and it just is like bang 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 like. So leading up to this, it was a little bit slow build, and you're not really sure what's going on. You're only getting glimpses of creatures and stuff moving through the snow. Um, but at this point, this is when shit starts hitting the fan. So before we get into some spoilers, we'll talk about those pros and cons. So what do you got for me here, Bug?
Let's see. You briefly touched upon it. I really enjoyed the blizzard scene, or how they implemented the blizzard into this movie. Not only did it show the effects of like the weather can have, but it also like it created that feeling of they're trapped here. There's nowhere to go. They just kind of got to wait this out. So they're
Yeah,
stuck until it's over. You know.
yeah, they did a good job of really making you feel that blizzard. I remember seeing it in theaters, and I was like, I felt cold. Like you know how like you see them on the screen, felt cold. I don't know. It could have been like the movie theater fucked up and had their air conditioning going still, but I think I felt pretty cold when when they had those scenes going on.
Where were you at? A 40th theater?
No, it was actually at a movie theater down in Washington D.C. That's a story for
Oh,
another time, though.
that sucks.
But it was the blizzard was well done. They really did make you feel like you were trapped in there with them. So, and we always talk about that. That's a good way to get you into the movie and into the scenes is if you can really convey the situation that they're in.
Mm-hmm. What's one of your pros?
My pros, I really liked for the most part the acting from like Adam Scott, Tony Collette, um, in the characters like that. I thought the relationship between them, the mom and the dad, they did a good job of showing like at the beginning how they were drifting apart, him getting busy with work and her worrying about different things, and just when things start getting serious and they're trapped in there, and the way they show them communicate, I thought they were portrayed as very realistic characters. And a lot of times in movies like this, they don't take the time for that. um and that leads me to my next issue was a little bit with the pacing. So in the beginning you had like the slower build. In the back half of the film it just goes like a breakneck pace, and then it's over. Like it's so abrupt. It's just like build up,
Yeah,
build up,
because
build up, and then boom, blows its load, and then it's done. But I thought,
no,
yeah, that's pretty graphic there. But um, I thought as far as in that build up in the beginning, it gave the actors room to portray realistic characters. Definitely thought um, David Koechner and his wife Allison Tolman, Howard and Linda, and their whole family is realistic because we come from like the same place that they came from. They're Steelers fans, and so we all know people like that, you know. So I thought they portrayed that. So
I
just the
could name probably about 3 or 4 families that are exactly identical to those people.
oh yeah, like that. I mean that's where we're from, so we know. But like it did a good job showing the different dynamics between all of them and different characters, as well as the holiday season can always be hectic, especially when I mean you know all the time you always have people coming over for the holidays or going somewhere, and how crazy you can get in the different um like the culturally differences between different families and their
Oh
beliefs and
yeah.
stuff like that. So I thought the way they portrayed that with the characters was very realistic,
Hmm.
um and they did that justice. So I thought that was a big pro for me. That's something I really liked about this movie.
Another pro that I have is when they were I don't know if you touched upon this, but when they were describing describing how the grandma knows about the Krampus and knows what's going on, they do it in an animated short type of deal.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
to me, that's perfect for a Christmas movie because when you think of Christmas movies, besides like
You think of like
uh,
Rudolph.
Rudolph, Charlie Brown, little stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I thought them implementing the mini animation scene was fitting for a holiday movie, and it was necessary.
Yeah, I definitely like that touch as well. And then I guess speaking about the grandma as well. So this is a weird thing, but so when I went and saw this movie originally, I went with someone that was actually born and her family was from Germany. A lot of times in movies when they speak different languages or stuff, I actually learned this from her that they're German, like what they put as the subtitles isn't actually like what it translates to be, and like because in English with the different conjugations and translations and stuff, like certain sayings that we would say aren't how people form sentences in different countries. But she said that actually the German, from what she was saying, is very accurate in this movie. So I put that as a pro that they got their language correct.
Yeah, that's actually pretty impressive
Yeah,
then.
it's a little insightful thing there for you.
Let me see. I have two real quick pros to go.
Hmm.
A real quick one here. I thought some of the kids were pretty funny. I thought, the main actors, Tom, Howard, Sarah, they were all funny. They had real funny scenes. So I
Hmm.
actually thought it was a pretty good like
Yeah,
comedy movie
yeah, I
too.
thought the comedy was well done in this as well. Nothing like too over the top, but it was well put together. It was well written.
Yeah, it wasn't enough to annoy you either. So like to me, it worked out.
I'll tell you
Um,
something though. Not to cut you off, but before I forget, that goes along with characters. I liked pretty much all of the acting, and I don't think he did a bad job. But a lot of the times, if he wasn't delivering lines, or even some of the things he delivered, the main boy Max, I thought a lot of times if you looked at him, like if he wasn't acting, he just had a bored look on his face, and
Max is bad.
but yeah, I don't know. And I know we pick on these child actors a lot, and it's hard to do. And I'm not saying he did a terrible job. It was just a little thing, but uh, I wasn't the biggest fan of his acting.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't
Yeah, that's what I'm
fantastic.
not saying. Like he was terrible, but it wasn't so much when like acting's more than delivering your lines. So like when he wasn't acting, he just looked like he was bored with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But maybe
he
that could
was.
be like he's trapped in the house with his cousins or something like that. But I don't know. I thought that could be a little bit better, but not saying that he did a bad job. But overall, I thought the acting was really good.
True. And then my last pro that I have, and I touched up with you before we started this. I thought they did a pretty good job. Uh, and like they had good patience when it came to revealing what Krampus really looked like or how they displayed him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's not in it a whole lot. 5-10 minute scene in the first quarter, and then the whole fourth quarter was nothing but him with a family. But it wasn't until like 10, 15 minutes left in the movie where you actually got your first really good up close look on what Krampus really looks like. And to me, for a horror movie to do that, I think that's a big plus.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely with Delane on the reveal, and you got that build up. I liked how they did that. But that actually leads to a pro and a con for me. I thought the creature design, so all of the Krampuses, and we'll get that in a minute here in the spoilers, but all of his minions, I thought like their design was awesome, really well done. They used the practical effects. I thought it was real good. But the issue I had, and I don't want to touch too much on it until we get to spoilers, but the Krampus's design himself um, wasn't terrible, but I did have some issues with it. I like the concept more than I like the execution on the Krampus. Was what my negative would be there. As well as I got one last negative, and that was the stupid jump scare at the very end.
Oh yeah, movies do that.
Yeah, I just thought. I mean, that's a little thing, but I thought that was stupid.
It's not necessary, but 2015, it was the time for it
Yeah.
because every movie back then was doing jump scares like that. Um, I didn't really go into my cons too much. I'll just say the biggest one that I had
Well, I was gonna
was
say with this movie, I really had to dig deep to find some cons because I do think it was really well put together. A few things could be a little bit better, but overall, definitely more pros than cons in my book.
I'll just I wrote three down, and hold on, I'm trying to clear my voice. It's not working out.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
All right, let's do this. So, just to three cons here I wrote down. I'm just gonna run by them real fast here. First one, I did not like the grandma. Not as an actor, but like as a character. To me, she didn't fit in. She had four lines. I mean, it was necessary to the film, but as a character, like her role was just all over the place to me. Like she didn't really do much. She was just a background character, you know. I just didn't like her as a character, or how she was portrayed, shall we say. Second one, I didn't like how the main actor's daughter goes out 15 minutes in the movie and just disappears for the rest of the movie. I thought she should have been in it a little bit more. I would have, I would have liked one of the mom's sister's kids to go out or something and just get trapped playing like or chasing a squirrel. I don't know.
They did seem like they were
Dumb.
dumb enough to be chasing a squirrel or something like that. But
Dumb enough to be chasing a squirrel in a blizzard. Yes. Um, but also my final one is the very, 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 very ending. I won't get into it too much. I was confused by it.
okay, yeah, we'll get into that in the spoilers, but I did have a little bit of issues with that, but not too much. I think it really shows like the bleakness of the situation. Because you think
Yeah, it just
you
shows how
think you're getting a
fast it went
happy ending, but
by.
you're not.
Yeah, yeah. Those are
But
my only cons.
yeah,
The only ones I can think of.
understandable. I mean, I get the grandma. Like she does seem out of place. And that's one of the things when I was thinking about putting as a con, like how she really can't communicate with those people, but like she does. But then I realized like real life, like I know, like you know, people like that, which is surprising when you really sit down and think about it, like how they actually communicate. But yeah, she did. For as much as like there was the clash, the different families, like the sportsy redneck and the rich upper class family getting together for Christmas there. Like it worked and was realistic, but she just seemed like a movie character, you know. So I could see that, but I
So a
feel like
movie
she
character
for
that
this
they
story
had.
she was semi necessary to the plot.
Yeah, it was a movie character that they probably weren't happy with, but they had to implement her into the film for the film to make sense.
Yeah, otherwise you'd have no backstory on what was going on.
Yeah, you have no idea. Chair of fear, Belschnickel is here.
And I'm cutting that part out. All right.
Yep. Don't want to get sued by NBC.
You can't get sued for stuff that's actual, like, real folklore. All right. Spoilers. So where do we leave off here?
You guys ready to be spoiled?
So the presents that were left out earlier, they were taken up to the attic. At the same time, two of Howard's and what was her name, Linda?
Did
I
I write
think.
it down? Yeah, Howard and Linda's kids.
Yes,
Stevie
Stevie and
and-
Jordan. Yeah,
Yes.
they hear their missing cousin Beth's voice from upstairs. So they go to check it out where the parents are occupied, trying to figure out what their next move is. When they get up there, it turns out um, there's this monstrous clown. And the family hears it, comes running up in just enough time, which this was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. When they turn and the lights on it, and the clown turns and has this clown with this like detachable mandible, like think the Predator, and just swallowing this kid whole. The family starts freaking out. These presents are opening. You have like this wicked, like porcelain looking angel, like monster, a robot, and was the other one a teddy bear, like with his vicious teeth. So they're all battling. Um, it looks like they're going to get killed by these creatures. So I feel like trying to think. So where was Howard at? Oh yeah. So Howard at this time, they were downstairs like Aunt Dorothy and the grandma. Um, so
They
Linda
were
sees,
tending to his leg.
yeah. So Linda sees the one other, or the one other dog. I don't remember if it was Stevie or Jordan in the other room, and then she sees that they're in danger, like laying there, and she freaks out and is able to get the one creature off of her, picks um and she just like goes like mama bear strength and just starts beating the shit out of the other toys and gets them free. At this time, they're the giant like Jack in the Box creature is able to escape through the vents. Um, and she goes chasing after that, and all the while down in the kitchen area, Howard hears um, something going on. It's the gingerbread men from earlier, which is pretty funny. They're actually two of them are voiced by like well-known like character actors and stuff. Seth Green, like Doctor Evil's kid Scotty.
Also, Chris
Alex,
Griffin from
yeah,
Family Guy.
yeah, and the other one's Justin Roiland, voiced Rick and Morty. So it's a little trivia there for you. But pretty funny scene where he's battling these gingerbread men. I think what were they were firing like a staple nail gun at him or something like that.
Nail gun.
Yeah, but he's
One was holding the top of it to fire or to trigger it, and then the other one was holding the trigger to shoot him,
yeah,
and just ripping shots at him. It's hilarious.
yeah. But he was able to beat two of them, and it looks like the third one's gonna get him like mid jump, and he closes his eyes and he opens them and he realizes the family dog was able to eat it. So that was a pretty funny scene. Um, but this leads to all the family coming together in the living room again, and the creature is actually able to break through like the upper level of the attic, and they're coming in. Aunt Dorothy has like her best moment where she's just shotgun blasts the bear in the head. They're able to grab the porcelain angel thing, throw it up, and she shoots that out of the air. Um, and it's looking all right for him, and then through the wall busts. Krampus has these creepy, which I really like. That's what I was talking about, the character design. These little creepy elf things, and they wrap her up in chains and they drag her out the door, and they come and grab the jack o' lantern to take him out, or the Jack in the Box to take him outside, and Howard's like, fuck that, like, yeah, my kid like tries to jump on and he gets drug out with it, so they're just down um to the mom and dad, Max, and the grandma. So they decide, they come up with a game plan. Tom's gonna go back to that snowplow. They're gonna get on it, um, and and they're gonna try to just drive out of the town. The grandma decides she's gonna stay behind to buy them some time. Once she does, this is where we get the first real good look at the Krampus. She basically just like tries to get the Krampus, like, take me, like, I know that's what you want, and Krampus is like, fuck you, I'm gonna take everybody, and throws her in the bag with all those creepy toys. Like, I picture those toys were just probably just like chewing her all up.
Probably.
So they're making their way
Yes.
out to the the plow truck, and this is where I'm talking, like, I have issues with the pacing. So in a matter of like moments, like, the rest of the people just get taken out. It's just almost like, oh, we gotta wrap this up. So that snow creature before snatches Tom up. So it basically comes down um, to Max being the only one left. Everyone else gets snagged up by those elves. Um, and then the Krampus comes up to Max and leaves him a belt, just like he did his grandma, basically like saying like, "Hey, fuck you, kid. Like, you didn't believe in Christmas. Like, this is your punishment. I snatched your whole family." So you're thinking at this point, Max is gonna be like, so what I actually thought is it was gonna like flash forward to him being like a old person, like telling like his grandkids or something, like to warn them, like, always believe in Christmas or something like this. But I kind of like this little twist. Max decides to go find out where the Krampus is at because he can see like a big commotion over, and it's almost like they're having like a little like party in the middle of the town, like all of his like little goons and stuff, and you see this big hole, like fiery pit that goes down to hell, and he actually goes up and confronts the Krampus and was like, spare I think it was his cousin, was it Stevie or something, like his cousin, spare his cousin, take me instead, I'm the one that didn't believe.
No, his
And
family.
yeah,
He did it. He did the cliche heroic move. Take
yeah,
me instead
yeah.
for
And this
everyone.
is why I like the Krampus, like, actually, go fuck yourself. So he started
Yep.
tosses his family in there, and then he picks up the kid by his head, and like you get the real up close look of like what the Krampus looks like. Well, technically, you do. And this is what I was talking about, like the design concept. So I like the concept that the Krampus is obviously this demon creature, and that he has like a fake person's face, like elongated, stretched out, like over his face. Like, I like that concept, but I thought that mask looked bad. It was real stilted. Like, the mouth didn't move, and like, I get it that it was like he had another face pulled over what his actual face looked like, but I thought that could have been done a little bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting how they decided to have Krampus have a mask on.
Yeah, conceptually I like that. I like the fact that it was like a human face like pulled over his face, but then I just thought the execution of the mask was like, I left a little bit to be desired.
To
Uh,
me, Krampus looked like um, Beast from Beauty and the Beast, except with a hood on and just like a look like a plastic mask over his face.
yeah,
That to me, that's how I would describe him. He the outfit I'd probably give like a 7 out of 10 because I actually did like it though.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was cool, but it left a little bit to be desired. So this leads to the next surprising part. So he's holding Max up, and he thought like, oh, like he's leaving this kid as like a message, but he's like, nope, fuck it, throws him down in hell too. Um, and this is where it gets a little bit weird. So Max wakes up the next day. Back home, it's Christmas. People are opening their presents. His whole family's there, and so you're thinking like, is it a dream? Is it not? And then while they're sitting there, He unwraps a present, and it's that bell that the Krampus left, and then everyone in his family remembers, and they're like not really sure, and it zooms out, and it turns out his family's in a snow globe in the Krampus's lair, and you could see all kinds of other snow globes to families that he's done it to as well. And then you get that stupid jump scare at the end where all the toys and his creatures jump out and at the screen, and then it's over. So I kind of liked how it ended. I liked how it was bleak. If you bring this demon on into your life, you don't have any hope. You lost the Christmas spirit, and this is your punishment. I don't know. So like, what happens to them after that? Are they just forced to live Christmas Day all together forever in that house? Like, are they going to run out of food? There's magic. Who knows?
Yeah,
That's a little bit weird to me, but
that's why it was weird. That's why I didn't understand it. It was so earlier in the film they said he takes his victims to the underworld to live out like the rest of their existence. Is their underworld? Is it like for them? Is it their family just like reliving Christmas Day because they hate each other?
what's
Or
yeah? So that's where it was different to me because like I guess you could do that. Like that's his own personal hell would be having to live like Christmas Day every day with that family, but through their hardship during this whole ordeal with the Krampus, like they all came together. They really like at one part I remember like Howard didn't really like Tom because he wasn't like manly to him. Like he's this rich business guy. Tom's this like hardworking like redneck hunter guy, and it's they just different personality they didn't like. But at one point after the stuff they've been through, he's like, I'm really starting to like you. Like the family really came together, and then like even in that scene when they woke up on Christmas morning, they were all happy until they remembered. So like it's really not like the punishment to them anymore. It's like not their own personal house. I don't know.
also what I thought was maybe he did give him that wish and he corrected everything and just like skipped a few days ahead to Christmas,
Uh,
and
so
that the snow globes was just how his version of watching kids were.
so it's maybe like the old like monkey's paw thing where like you have to
Yes.
be specific on your wish because like it's I don't know if it was like a Twilight. It's an old thing they always have. It's like the devil's deal where like you'll say like I want to be rich, but then like you didn't specify it, so you end up getting rich because like you get in an accident and you had to sue somebody, but you're paralyzed. Like there's always a negative like when you're having a deal like that. So like your wish might be like to have everyone have a great Christmas, but when you're dealing with the Krampus, you have to be more specific, or you're going to get like some type of negative twist on it. So I like it thinking like that. Like that's not a bad idea there, Bug.
Yeah, that's just how I viewed it there.
Yeah, but that's the Krampus
Ratings.
ratings. You want to go first here, Bug? What do you got?
Ratings for the film, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 for sure. Uh, 7.
Yeah, that's fair. That's I mean, just giving mine. I would say I was going to say 7.5. Um, I would recommend this. Um, definitely. I was a little bit more hyped for this based upon his past work with Trick or Treat. It's definitely it delivers. It's an entertaining movie. Um, like we were saying last week, your choices. There's some out there, but not very good Christmas movies. Well, Christmas horror movies. But this is definitely one of the better made ones. Definitely worth checking out um, during the Christmas season. But I had higher hopes. It definitely could have been better. A few of those cons held it back a little bit, and there's only so much that you could do with this style story. But I definitely think it was a well put together movie.
Yeah, it is. I'd say for sure. Good production value, so it makes it like worth watching for a horror Christmas movie. So, um, yeah, I'd stick with a 7 out of 10. Worth watching. In terms of people who I'd recommend it to, I mean, I don't know, horror fans, someone who wants a different taste in Christmas, who maybe isn't having like isn't feeling it this Christmas season, or someone who can't make it home for the holidays for the first time in
Yeah,
their life.
I
So
guess
something a little bit darker for this December.
make them feel. I mean, I would agree with that to a point. Just saying like this movie would make you appreciate if you think your Christmas is going bad. It could get worse. But yeah,
Everything
I'd
could.
recommend it to any horror fan. Um, as well as it's not a very scary movie, so like if it's during, and it's not very vulgar or anything like that. So I'm definitely not younger kids, but like if you're at a family Christmas and um your relatives are up to like middle school age or something like that, like this is something that you could throw on um and have on in the background while Christmas parties going or something like that. I'd definitely recommend it for pretty much most people.
It is only rated PG-13.
Yeah, so I mean I don't really know too many people out of issues. I mean there's a little bit of gore in it, but you're not really seeing like blood and guts. Like you see a person get eaten. The creatures are a little bit startling, so that's why I'd say not like younger people, but in general, I would recommend this to most people.
Hmm.
I mean, since I saw it in theater, I've watched it pretty much every Christmas holiday since then. So what's that? This is coming up on 2015
4
was
years.
4 years ago, man. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Long time. A lot happens in 4 years, bud.
Feel like yesterday.
All right, so that pretty much wraps this up here. You got anything else, bud?
Yeah, I'm getting tired, man.
A little bit tired.
A little bit tired.
How's your Christmas shopping been going? You got everything you need?
I don't want to talk about it right now, man. Talk about real horror.
it's
So,
it's rapidly approaching. Let's this year we're doing like a like instead of everyone having to keep getting everybody gifts and stuff, like my brothers, sisters, we all go to my parents' house for Christmas. My grandma, my uncle, aunt, everything. Everyone comes to their house, and everyone is always having to get everybody gifts. And now that everyone got their like significant others and stuff like that, we basically just like try to simplify it. So this year we're doing like we did it at Thanksgiving. Everyone like picked out of a hat, and so you just get a gift for one person. I know like a lot of people try to do like the white elephant where you can like switch and stuff like that. We're like, no, we're not doing that. That just leads to fights. But I got the easiest one. I got my grandma. And I don't know if you know this about my grandma, but her favorite thing in the
pack of
world.
six.
No, she hasn't smoked in 15 years or so.
Damn, good for her.
Yeah, I mean, you have triple bypass from a heart attack. I think you have to stop smoking.
Yeah, that kind of seals the deal. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got her favorite thing in the world is the casino. So real easy for me. I just go get a gift card at the casino. So
That's not bad.
that was easy.
Like
I'll still get my brother and sister something, and my parents.
You want to know what my family's doing this year for Christmas?
What do they do?
Going to my aunt's house. It is pajama themed, so we all have to wear
That sounds terrible.
Christmas pajamas. Last year was sweaters, which sweaters you can get away with, but this year pajamas. And it's kind of like a white elephant. We do we've done it for the past like 3-4 years. Haven't changed the cards at all. Like a Christmas trivia, Christian Christmas trivia.
Dude, you're about to have the worst, dude. I hope just announce Christmas and get the Krampus come and snatch you guys up.
Because there's like, I don't know. So, and we do like a white elephant. You can either pick a gift that's in the middle that someone brought, or you can steal from someone. You get one steal, and once you get a question right.
Is this the aunt that lives far away or like not too far?
No, this is the aunt that lives about 15 minutes away.
Oh, that's not that
This would be
bad.
the Saturday before Christmas. Christmas Day, we go to my aunt's house about 45 minutes away.
Okay, that's not too bad.
She makes good food, so that's that.
You guys still celebrating Hanukkah this year too?
Yeah, we'll light the menorah.
Oh,
It
cool.
starts sundown at the 22nd, I believe. It's late this year.
I was gonna say it's normally earlier, but I'm not up on
It's
Judeo
bouncing
traditions.
around. The past, I think last year it started at the end of November. The year before that, the first week in December. Now it's back at the end of December. It bounces around. It's a weird one.
All right. Well, we'll wrap this up. People don't want to know about our Christmas.
Hmm.
Christmas is canceled this year. Now that we watch this movie, Christmas canceled.
I hope it's not canceled.
That means the
I'd rather
Krampus.
I'd rather wear pajamas to a Christmas party than see the Krampus take my family.
That's the quote. That's going to be the tagline I'm going to put in the little like description box for this episode. I'd rather wear pajamas to a Christmas party than get kidnapped. Have my family get kidnapped by the Krampus.
Yeah.
Dillip bugs.
DB.
All right, Bug. Well, hey, that was pretty quiet. I really didn't have to yell at you this time. Like, you had it together here, buddy.
Yeah.
You're becoming
I'm
a
tired.
real
When
boy.
I'm tired. I calm down. I'm real nonchalant.
You took your Ritalin.
No, I do this before every show. I take 2 Viagra.
What?
It's a tradition of mine.
Tradition. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Started week 1. Here we are, week 5. It's been a hell of a ride, boys.
You can give yourself a heart attack, boy. Oh, that's it. That's the Krampus. All right. Well, I almost forgot. Send us an email at Hunter's HorrorVision. That's actually how I knew that. Like, so we opened up actually announcing ourselves for once. Someone actually sent me an email just as a suggestion, like, hey, like, I've listened to other episodes, so I knew who you guys were. But if someone was listening to this episode for the first time, they wouldn't know. So that's a good point. I appreciate that. But send us an email, huntershorrorvision@gmail.com. Check us out on Twitter at huntershorrorvision. Actually, it's just HorrorVision. My bad. I should know this. I look at it every day. At HorrorVision. Our podcast, if you're listening to it, you found it. But if you prefer to listen to it somewhere else, it's on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. And if you really wanted to, you could listen to it on our YouTube channel. That's Hunter's HorrorVision. Just search that in the little box up there. But we will have some other things. We're going to start doing, if you listen to our other ones, we don't really go over the news in this anymore, but we're going to have a little separate during the week to get you through your work week there. We'll have horror news breakdowns as well as trailer reactions. So that's something we do have planned coming up in the near future, as in probably at the same time this episode comes out.
If I can make it through, man, I'm tired.
All right, well then let's get to it.
I'll pull through. I'll take another Viagra.
Oh, God. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
That's the Krampus, y'all.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.